The Fireside Tales exist in a reality all of its own. In the ever closing gap between what is real and what is not. I am lucky enough to work in this tower amongst the stars, and the Fireside Tales has been kind enough to allow me access to some of their most sacred documents. The story that I'm going to tell you all tonight is of how the Fireside Tales all began, millions of years ago. It is a story that has been told and retold since the dawn of time, and I'm happy to share with all of you. So let us begin. It starts with an angel by the name of Godric. Now, Godric had 4 children by the names of Sky, Anselm, Cora, and Mia, and they lived in a small little church on the world known as Earth. Anyways, Cora was the oldest of the 4 children, and she was a beautiful lady. She would often go walking through the woods, singing a song, and the townsfolk would mistake her as a forest nymph for a spirit. Anyways, the second child was Anselm, and Anselm was even more beautiful than her sister. But there was something about her eyes that often bothered people. There was a sort of darkness to her eyes, and no one could quite put it into words, but they always felt a little bit uneasy being in her presence. Now, there is some stories that say that Anselm might have been descended from giants, that she might have had giant blood in her. I have not been able to find any evidence about this, and I personally do not believe it is true, but I will go ahead and tell you all that in case you are interested. Anyways, the third child was Sky, and Sky was the only boy of the 4 children. And he had hair that was always standing up on top of his head, and he'd always have to push it down. And he was a bit of a quiet child, but he loved to read, and he was very good at sword fighting and shooting the bow and arrow. And he absolutely adored his sister Mia, who was the youngest of the 4, and they would often go out in the field together and sing songs with one another. But anyways, one day Godric had to leave the little church and had to go on a mission in the other world. So the 4 children were left alone, and things probably would have been fine. But one day Cora was out, and she was getting some water from the river, and her sister Anselm snuck up behind her. It seemed that her sister was jealous of Cora's beauty and believed that she was more beautiful than her. So she grabbed hold of a rock, and she raised it up in the air and brought it down upon Cora, and she slammed the rock again and again against Cora's head, smashing her brains out, and the rivers ran red with Cora's blood. Anyways, when Anselm was finished, she threw the body into the river, and she left the scene. Well, when Godric got back, he saw the rivers running red with blood, and he knew that something was amiss. He began looking around, and finally he found his daughter Cora. She was trapped in the branches of an overhanging tree, and he rushed in, and he grabbed hold of his daughter, and he held it up, and he looked up in the sky, and asked God why such a horrible thing had happened, and realized the true terror of what had occurred to all of history. Anyways, he took her, and he buried her down in the soft earth, and then he walked back up to the castle, and he went into Sky and Mia's room first, and he asked them, "Sky, Mia, did you kill your sister Cora?" And they both said, "Oh, no, of course not, Father." And he said, "Show me your hands." And they did, and they were clean. Then he went to his daughter Anselm's room. "Anselm, did you kill your sister Cora?" And Anselm said, "Oh, no, of course, Father." And, Godric, he said, "Show me your hands." And Anselm did, and they were red with her sister's blood. Well, Godric, he said, "Get out of here right now, this instant, and do not return." So, Anselm, with her head held down, left the castle. And anyways, Godric, he went back to his, son, Sky, and his, daughter, Mia, and he said, "My two children, you must leave this castle. I have a mission in the other world, and I will not be able to stay here. But if your sister finds you, she will kill you. You must go deep into the forest, and find a place known as the Kingdom of Light. There you will be safe." Anyways, Sky and Mia did as they were told. They went off into the forest and headed to the castle. Well, anyways, Anselm followed them. She was indeed jealous of her sister's beauty, and she wanted to cut her throat. Anyways, Anselm tried to kill Sky and Mia. She tried everything she could. But every time she attempted to lay a hand on Mia, Sky would suddenly jump out of nowhere with a sword held high in the air and fight her off. Anselm tried this many of times, but always Sky would come out of nowhere and save the day. So Anselm sent many other creatures out to kill little Mia. She sent out wolves, and she got a band of thieves to try to kill her. But it all ended the same, with them escaping and managing to get away. Finally, the siblings arrived at the Kingdom of Light, and there they were greeted with open arms. And so the story continues on today. Many of the evil people that you know of, the politicians, the celebrities of the world, are the spirit of Anselm, still trying to kill her little sister Mia. You out there are probably the spirit of Mia. And the members of the Fireside Tales, our organization, are the spirits of Sky. We watch over you and make sure that you stay safe. And anyways, that is a story, if you choose to believe it. A legend that will continue and on until the end of all time. As always, sweet dreams and good night.